Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining me. My name is Eileen Nolan. I am the proud author of the Memoirs of an Empress. Before I get started today on my second part, I would like to take a moment of silence for George Floyd. Thank you so much. As you guys know, I am going to be discussing UBD, Understanding by Design, and this is our second part in our four-part series. I'd like to welcome everybody back. Before I begin with hitting the road and giving out all the information you need, I just want to remind everyone that I do have a new YouTube channel, so please make sure you go and subscribe. You're going to look for Black Girls Write Too, and you're going to subscribe to my channel. There will be some videos that I will only post to YouTube, so I hope to see you all there. Also, if you have not joined my new Facebook group, also at Black Girls Write Too, please make sure you join it. Join our literacy community so that we can keep ourselves abreast about what is going on in literacy in the world. Finally, I would like to remind everybody that on Fridays at 4 p.m. I go live on Facebook for my literature circle, where I choose books from around the world to read to children everywhere. So please like, share, and tag someone that you think would be beneficial to hearing a good book on a Friday afternoon. Don't forget to join my email list on my website so that you can receive some private discounts and some offers that I only offer on my website's email. So, are you guys ready to hit the road? I hope so. Do you have some paper and pen? Because we're going to get jam-packed information today that is going to help us organize our thoughts and help us to get those books written. So I need everybody, if you haven't gotten some paper, go ahead and get some. I'll wait. You back yet? Okay, here we go. So I hope everyone's ready to take notes. And remember, if you missed anything in my first video, please make sure you go to YouTube and go check it out. There's some background information that would be very useful for you for understanding by design right there in that first video. So today we're going to start off by just giving a reminder that UBD is an organizational tool that mostly is incorporated in education. However, as an educator, I found this to be such a useful tool that I brought it on into my author life. So I kind of changed it and tweaked it, but if you want to know a little bit more about the original UBD, please make sure you check out my website. I have a list of links that you can go and some videos that I have posted that you can find in a nice clean place, everything right there for you, and you will find out more information about UBD on your own. Finally, if you do not know that UBD was first originated by J. McTighe and Grant Wiggins, that is something else you can find out more about. That title, UBD, that's theirs. It's not mine. I just took it and I made it so that it would be very useful in my plan to become a published author. So I'm going to share with you today how I did it. What did I do? How did I change UBD so that it could fit to become a published author? So, to begin, we have to understand that UBD is understanding things in a backwards mentality. Now, we're as human beings are not used to that, okay? We're not used to looking at things, the final stage, and then working backwards. But that's what we're going to be doing in UBD. And today I am going to be sharing some of the tools that I use to help myself get my book ready. Now, these are tools and suggestions. There are hundreds, countless of ways of doing something. However, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself and how I did it. So, here we go. First of all, if you have not visited my website, Black Girls Write Too, there is a worksheet on there. It's a guided worksheet that is going to help you kind of like put the big picture in perspective. Remember last week I was talking about those 10 questions? Well, those 10 questions are there for you. If you have not gone to my website, please check it out. It's there for you, and you can fill out that worksheet, and it's going to help you so much to prepare for this stage. So what I did was I took UBD and I made it into a process for writing a book. we're going to go over the 3 stages of UBD today. Stage 1 is all about identifying the desired effects. For example, what do you want your readers to know? What themes are going to resonate in your book? And how will your readers experience those themes? For example, using myself, when I started writing, I said, I determined I wanted to write a memoir. So, how did I want my readers to experience the memoir? One thing that I did in my book is that I decided to use snippets of the personal journal of my main character, whose name is Empress. And that was done because I wanted to have my readers to feel a strong connection to my characters. I wanted my readers to feel like they knew my characters. So I made my memoir very personal. You have to decide what you want to do to make your book authentic for you. And that's very, very important. So before we even start with all these steps with UBD, it's super important to know what you're thinking. So again, if you have no idea how to organize those thoughts, make sure you check out that worksheet. It's super, super important. Those 10 questions will really help you out. Let's further explore stage 1. So in stage 1, we're going to have to make some choices, okay? And it's very, very important that we make these choices and that we stick to these choices, okay? Now, we're going to look at themes, the themes that we are going to discuss in our book. And how can we do that? Several ways, okay? One way I might suggest is creating a 2-column chart. On one side of the column, you're going to talk about all the themes that you want to have in your book. On the other side of the chart, you're going to tell me how that's going to look, okay? So one theme may be, being a single mother. How does that look? Talking about my children. You understand? So one thing is what it's going to be. The next thing is what it's going to look like. So this is very, very important. Let's go to stage 2. Stage 2 in UBD is called determining the assessment evidence. What evidence are you going to show that you have reached your desired effect? Their reaction, for example, when I gave out parts of my book, what I did was, let me just tell you the secret, I gave out parts of my book to various people. I said, can you guys read these parts of my book and give me some feedback? And what I found was some people were saying, where's the rest of the book? Because they wanted to read more. I had people that said, fix this and do that. Maybe if you add that or take this out. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to do, one of the actions I wanted to take to make sure that I reached my desired goals. I wanted to get feedback from my community before I even published my book. Now, we consider the assessment, the assessment stage very important. It is the stage that you document and you validate all of your desired effects. This is very, very important. This helps us to sharpen our focus, and that is super important. In this stage, we should be able to articulate concepts that are discussed in our book. For example, we should be able to explain, interpret, apply, know the perspective of our book. We should be able to know who we're going to be empathizing with in our book. And of course, having a self-knowledge of our book, the total parts. Do you know the story elements for your book? Super important. These facets need to be considered, all of these facets. However, they don't need to be considered all at the same time. So you really can take your time and develop each of these 6 components all on their own. Now, for the final stage in UBD. That is stage 3. This is called the plan experiences. Now that we have clarified how we're going to organize this book, now we have to plan the experiences and the timeline that it's going to take for us to get this book written. So in this stage, we usually will plan a model that we're going to use to get our work done. So, of course, guys, I have to always say this. There are so many ways that we can do one thing. And of course, all of the things that I do on paper can be digitized. And I have worked with clients that wanted things digitally. So if you need any of these digital pieces, please just reach out to me and I'll give you some suggestions. I, however, am very old school and I like writing things down. So one of the things I wanted to show you guys today that I discussed last week was my form calendar vision board. So what I did for each month in my calendar is I planned the goals that I wanted to achieve in my book. So it may have been, oh, I'm going to develop this character. Oh, I'm going to talk about the setting a little bit more. Maybe I'll go and interview some people, so I'll have some additional pieces of evidence that I can throw in my book. These are all things that I had to do to force myself to get on a timetable. Now, one thing I don't do is say, oh, I'm going to have 1,000 words today, 2,000 words tomorrow. I don't do it like that. Now, that's just a personal preference. You could do your organizational strategy, whatever works for you. However, for me, I incorporated my calendar by themes. This month, I'm going to have this chapter done, and then I'll have feedback on this chapter, edit, and revise. Everyone does things differently, and I'm more than willing to share with you. Another thing for me is I have to be inspired. So on my vision board, I have a whole bunch of quotes that help me to make it. Raising the bar, 2020 vision, make it happen. So I planned out my whole year, okay? And I have things all ready to go for November and December because I have goals that I want to achieve, and I want to be able to hold myself accountable and make sure that these are accomplished. So these are big picture goals, okay? They're not specific to a day. They're big picture for a month about what are the long-term goals for the year that I'm going to achieve from writing my book. So that is, again, a Dollar Tree foam board. No need to go out. Of course, you could always make a spreadsheet or, again, find digital ways to do this. Now, also, I wanted to talk a little bit about my white book. So when I started writing my book, I used the white book. Now, I chose a white book, guys. Here's a little secret. I get easily distracted. So I didn't want to have any books with pictures and big colors for writing my book. I wanted to be laser focused when I was writing this. So if you look in my book, they're white. Even the cover was white. I designed this, okay? So when I got started, the first thing I decided was, what is this book I'm writing? Okay, that probably is going to be the first step. So I decided I wanted to write a memoir. I decided that I wanted to incorporate some experiences that I have had as well as people that I've known in the book. So I started writing down ideas about what would be in my book. That was the first stage, okay? And again, big picture. Now from the big picture, I moved to a smaller or a deeper understanding. So what I did was I began to now look at the chapters that I wanted to write. So if we go back, you'll see that I started to list chapters that I wanted to have in my book. And then when I started writing, for each chapter, I started to write down the ideas that I wanted to have in each chapter. What were some of the characters that would be in the chapter? What would be some of the places that would be occurrences in the chapter? These are all things that help me to further break down my understanding about what I was going to do. So this white book was super important, and guys, I gotta tell you, this made it happen. Now, a white book, again, my suggestion, again, you can find thousands of ways of organizing your chapters. This is what works for me. So I wanted to share that with you. In this stage, guys, I have to remind you that you have to be mindful of your audience. Who are you writing this book for? You have to know what those people want to hear. What do they want to see? And capture their attention, because ultimately, you want to sell books. Remember, this framework helps us to identify our priorities. We have to have first things first attitude. What are our first things first that are going to be getting done? So I need everybody to remember, big picture leads to small, small details. Now, Ralph Tyler in 1949, believe it or not, spoke about UBD. So if you wanted to know how far and how long this backwards design planning has taken place, go and look up Ralph Tyler. Now, he didn't call it UBD, but he did call it backwards design planning. And basically that is starting from the end and planning backwards. So let's go back to the foam board. Let's say my goal is by September, I'm going to have my book written. So in September, I'm going to list book completed. What is going to happen in August to make sure that book is completed? July. Okay, so it is going from the back forward. Okay, and then when you go from the back forward, after you read it from the front backwards and make sure it makes sense. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So that was the calendar vision board. And of course, we all have ways that we could do it. Sure, you can make a spreadsheet. Sure, you can find ways online to just digitize it. I know a lot of people are not really into paper, but I'm just an old school kind of girl. I like things to be hanging around. I like to be able to see it, check it off the list. That's just me. So again, I'm sharing the tools that I use so you would know, how does she do it? Now, I explained my whiteboard, my white book. I also explained my calendar board. Now I'm going to show you how specific I get. So now I have a calendar, and of course it's the yearly calendar, but for every other day, I try not to do it every day because I try not to be like OCD too much, but for every other day, I have a goal for my book. And this is what I want to do. So let's go back to May 15th. May 15th said that I needed to have my first chapter already with the edits and the revisions from the individuals that I gave it to. So that was something that I made myself a plan. This is what was going to happen because I already knew my chapter 1 was written for my next book, and I wanted to pass it out and make sure I get some feedback on it before I started going on with the other chapters. Of course, we're way past that, so my calendar has other things such as looking at, you know, I'm very specific. Maybe I might look at the characters, how are they developing, things like that. So again, I have my big picture. Every month this is what I'm going to do. I have my strategy of breaking down my chapters, and now I am going to specifically outline day by day or every day what it is that I'm going to do to achieve my goal. So these are 3 tools that I use to make sure that I stayed organized and that there was clear focus to what I was doing once I started typing. Remember guys, this is actually not how to write a book. This is how to get organized so that you can write a book. Now, if you need coaching assistance, of course, you can reach out to me on my website, blackgirlswrite2.com, because I'm here for you. And I would like to see everyone's books, and I want to read everybody's books. I can't wait to hear all the comments for everyone who has tried to implement these strategies so that you can tell me how fabulous it was, because I know, I already know. Now, let's just review a few things before we go on. You have to know your purpose. It is super important. We can't start writing down pages and pages and pages of a book until we know what is the book. Who is the book for? If you're writing an adult book or if you're writing a children's book, it's going to look very, very different. Certain words I wouldn't use in a children's book that I may use in an adult book. So it, again, keeps me laser focused. Again, if you have no idea, you know you want to write a book, you have a story you want to tell, you have a voice you want to be heard, get on my website and get those 10 questions so you can start getting your ideas laser focused. That's what it's all about. You can do it. Now, remember guys, setting writing goals is a very personal activity. I can't tell you what to do for your goals. You have to know what you want to do. How long do you want this book to take? Okay, if you say, oh, I want my book to be done in a year, 6 months, 3 months, that is all a personal decision. And of course, coaching and guidance can be provided at any time by shouting me out. Now, if you give yourself some time and thought and reflection, it will be a very smooth process. And it will be a way for you to see it actually come to fruition. So I've given you a lot of information and a lot of things that you could talk, discuss, and share in your community. Remember, we all have stories, so make sure you share with someone who may be interested. So remember, we're going to go through the chapters, we're going to be making notes, we're going to be setting experiences, we're going to be making goals, and we're going to make sure that it gets happened. I like to think of specific goals as aims for me to achieve, and we all have aims, so make sure we do it. These tools that I share with you today, my whiteboard, my white book, my calendar, these are all tools that I use to help stay the course. Stay the course. Your book will happen if you stay the course. Stay organized. Okay? It's a big picture. But once the big picture is broken down, it is doable. And I have faith in all of you, and I know you can do it. Well, I hope everyone has gained some insight on the information that I disseminated today. If you have any further questions, of course, you can always reach out to me. I look forward to getting to know every single person. I'm super excited that you've gotten an opportunity to get this opportunity and get started on what you want to do and create an action plan that you're going to stick to and follow through. Please, 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 if you have no idea where to get started, make sure you visit that website and get that worksheet. It's super important. That's what I use, and it helped me again to really stay very, very concrete in my plan. Finally, if you do use that website, could you do me a favor? Could you go to my website forum and just leave me a comment? Do you think it was helpful? Can I change anything or add anything to make it more useful for people in the future? I really greatly appreciate it. As an author, I know that writing is never final and that we always have to reflect and make revisions. Lastly, I am super excited to let you guys know that I am going to have my birthday real soon. And as a birthday celebration gift to everyone who has supported me, I am going to be having a birthday gift basket giveaway on Instagram. I'm super excited. I'm not telling you what's in the basket. Of course, it will be my book, maybe a little bubbly. I'll let you know. But there are super exciting gifts. I want to take a shout out to say thank you to Rochelle, who offered to give items for the basket. And if anybody else would like to donate items for the gift basket or for our organization, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you once again. And make sure you follow me and join that gift basket giveaway for my birthday. I'm super excited. That's on Instagram, and I can't wait for you to read my book. Don't forget, in week 4, I'm going to release the trailer for my next book. It's almost finished, guys, and I'm super excited. I know you guys have been wanting to know what happened to Empress. She's back, and I'm going to be telling you more about it on week 4. Next week, we're going to go over a few reflective processes that I use to reflect on the organizational strategies that I use, and I look forward to everyone being there. I hope you join me on tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Facebook for my literature circle, and have a great day, everyone. Thanks again, and I can't wait to read your books. Take care.